Hi, Nick from Delta Arsenal. Today we're going to be talking about some of the weapon safety rules while utilizing the range here. So we're going to talk about the 5 most important safety rules while utilizing the range here. Keep in mind, if at any point you forget these rules, they're posted in front of all entrances to all the ranges. Rule number 1, always shoot a firearm as if it was loaded. That means pulling it out of the holster or pulling it out of the range bag, you want to place it on the counter, downrange in a safe direction. Rule number 2, always keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. At no point should your finger touch the trigger until you have positive control of the weapon and you're pointed downrange. Rule number 3, always keep firearms unloaded until ready to use. At no point should any ammunition be loaded into the firearm itself until it's pointed downrange in a safe direction. Rule number 4, always keep the muzzle of all firearms pointed downrange. This rule speaks for itself for the safety of everybody else on the range. Rule number 5, always make sure that the firearms are in safe operating condition before use. Here at Delta Arsenal, we conduct preventative maintenance on all of our rental firearms as you should with your personal firearms. So I want to cover one more thing before we let you guys go today. Here at an indoor range, sounds are amplified tenfold, so we want to make sure we have proper ear and eye protection before going into the range at any point. Now that we know our weapon safety rules and we have our equipment, let's go inside and talk to John.
All right, so while we're in the range, I want to cover 3 things. The first one's going to be target placement, the second one's going to be malfunctions, and the last one's going to be taking photos. Now, when it comes to target placement, the shooter needs to take into consideration a few things. The first one's going to be their height. Some shooters are obviously taller or shorter than others. They also have to take into consideration how close or far the target is to them, and they also have to take into consideration how far to the left or right or top or bottom of the cardboard the target is. Now, with these larger targets, the good thing about them is they make it relatively simple because they fill up the majority of the surface of the cardboard. With that said, shooters want to make sure that the target isn't so close to where if they're aiming for headshots or if they're aiming for lower body portions of the target, that they're not striking the ceiling or the floor. Now, when it comes to smaller targets such as this, we don't want to place them so far to the edges or the tops or bottom because you also run those risks. Particularly with these smaller targets, you want them to be as centered as possible on the cardboard. Now, when it comes to malfunctions, which is a very common experience on the range, there's a few steps that you want to take when it comes to handling a malfunction. Now, for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to show that my firearm is clear and keep it pointed in a safe direction at all times. Now, if you ever experience a malfunction, the first thing you want to do, if your firearm has a safety, you want to make sure that safety's on as I did here. If not, just simply place it down on the tray in front of you, keep it pointed downrange in a safe direction, and find our RSO. Now, when it comes to our range, we always have cameras monitoring at all times, and our RSOs are readily available to assist you whenever you need them. Now, the last topic I want to cover is taking photos. Now, we welcome and encourage our customers to share their experiences with their family and friends online and social media, and we strongly encourage that you go to our Instagram or Facebook and share it with other customers. With that said, there's still a couple of things we want you to keep in mind in regards to safety. Now, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your firearm is clear and on safe. You also want to keep it pointed in a safe direction at all times with your finger straightened off the trigger, okay? Be sure not to flag any of the other customers with the firearm. I strongly recommend that if you're not too sure about how to go about doing this, you grab one of our RSOs who are always readily available and monitoring you to help you take a picture with the firearm. After you're done shooting, be sure to head back downstairs to our showroom floor where our restrooms provide D-lead soap. Thank you for coming to Delta Arsenal. We hope you enjoy your time here.